Good morning, folks, and welcome to a quick morning update with regard to the price action of Boeing. I did a video yesterday, and it's posted on YouTube and on the website. There's a link below, above. It should be appearing right now if you want to check it out later on. But Boeing, as we expected, was going to gap down this morning. No great shock. It has gapped down. We're in the just shy of about 10% from where we closed on Friday. Now, where we're not at is we're not at key historical support. We are a bit oversold, but we can get more oversold. And as I mentioned yesterday in my commentary, this is probably going to be a one-sided day, meaning the bias is clearly going to be 90% to the downside. Now, the way I treat days like these are as if Boeing reported earnings last night and we're coming into the morning with the aftermath of a bad earnings report that didn't go our way. And generally what happens is a complete and utter washout the first hour or so. And then you get a counter trend move up and into these stacks of moving averages. And then we get a stall, then we fade, and then we quite possibly break down to new lower lows. That's just the way it's going to be for the next couple of days. Now, as mentioned yesterday, I have a position on here, and I'm going to see not a huge loss, but a small loss, but we'll manage it. I have an iron condor on. We'll roll down the calls on the iron condor for the second time, booking profits there, increasing our hedge. We have puts below protecting us, but we have puts below that are also actually above now at 235 strike that are hurting us. So we'll manage this trade by probably on any counter trend rally today, shorting into that counter trend rally with the anticipation that we're going to come down to key support levels. The question is, where are those support levels? And we'll go there in a moment. But first, what I want to do is I want to check the news. And we haven't seen any downgrades yet, and this is probably going to add a little bit of selling pressure once they come out, and I fully expect that they will, because there are a lot of analysts out there. As a matter of fact, let's go check it out. This is off of the Wall Street Journal. We have current buy ratings out there at 22, overweight at 3, holds at 7. I doubt we're going to see those holds come up to an overweight at current. What we could see are some of those overweights come down to a buy rating. At current, our price target to the high side is 325. Median is 280 with a low at 190. We closed out Friday at 249, so well below the median, well below the high. So that gives these banksters a lot of opportunity to, yes, downgrade the shares. However, keep a share price well above where we closed on Friday. What does that do? Well, it makes them look good in the eyes of the street and also in the eyes of their bankster brothers on the opposite side of the Chinese wall at their institution, where the analyst community is supposed to be separate from the trading community. And the trading community is going to be only so happy to take their news from the analysts, slam down the share price, and then, after all the weak hands are out, they're going to begin accumulating the shares. That's the way it works. Now, I had hoped that the deal yesterday reached on the budget would help support the defense stocks. Why would that help the defense stocks? Because the defense stocks got $886.3 billion for defense spending. And most certainly, they don't have a number out, most certainly we're going to see more aid for the Ukraine and for Israel. How does that affect Boeing? Well, Boeing's their commercial airline unit is only 1/3 of their business. A good portion of their business, in the excess of additional third, is military defense related. But while checking in on names like Lockheed Martin, they're actually flat versus Friday's closed, and perhaps they'll rally. There's not a lot of pre-market trade that goes on here on these big stodgy names. Other names like Raytheon in the pre-market, technically down slightly, so we're not seeing any reaction, positive reaction in the pre-market anyway. Currently, it's 2:46 Eastern Standard Time in these names. Perhaps we'll see it later on today. But getting back to the news on Boeing, and this is something I cited yesterday as being a concern, is that the ECB And correction then, not ECB, that's the European Central Bank. The EU has grounded not just the 737 MAX 8, but also the 737 MAX 9, which I believe there are more of those planes now than there are the MAX 8. The upside is that these inspections that are taking only a few hours to do, and then they're immediately returning these airplanes to the sky. So, in closing here, I do suspect that things are going to get more uglier before they get better, and we'll talk about price targets in a moment. We do not have downgrades. I think they are going to be coming later on this morning. We have the regular hours session for average traders that opens up at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, roughly about 12 minutes from now. So let's talk about price targets. And these price targets are brought to you by TrendSpider Automated Technical Analysis. There's a 35% discount code below if you're looking for automated trend lines, which help you identify where you have support and resistance levels. Also a great scanning tool for opportunities as well as seasonality and insider buying and selling. And honestly, I haven't looked at the insider buying and selling yet. Let's see what's going on. So it looks as though in recent months we don't have a lot of buying and or selling. We have awarding of shares. The last activity was back in the summer with some selling and some buying. Not much really to talk about in terms of conversation or impact on what we're seeing this morning, but we'll keep an eye on this. Now, looking at seasonality for Boeing, going back 24 years, so a good amount of data. January is generally one of the weaker months out of the year, where the upside is that February is one of the best months out of the year, tied for April and December. Now, moving back to where we might find support, this is a 4-hour chart, and you can see the gap down here. We slice right through 235 like a hot knife through butter. Now, you may be thinking, well, during the regular hours session, maybe they'll open it up above that mark. I tend to doubt that. Usually what happens is when you get these gaps down, generally they stay there, and then at the open, you get a more of a flush out. Why? Because there's more liquidity at the open, meaning the big institutions or traders that went into the weekend with a big position, not expecting the news on Friday, well, they're going to begin to liquidate their positions because many of whom need to, because they're either A, on margin, or B, they're too big. They're short-term traders, and they need to get that money out, put it into a more positive alpha trade. Where I'll be looking for support on Boeing is down here, beginning down here between 221.21 and 220 per share. And I think that may be the ultimate area in which we see a bottom get put in and we get a serious counter trend rally. And now moving on to a weekly chart, you can see that the price action is not reflected on this chart yet, but use your imagination. We're down in here at current, right below the 230 mark. So this 220 mark marks support last seen back in August, where it acted as a support level. Now, closing things out here, just checking in to see whether or not we have any updated news. I'm very surprised that we don't have the street out yet downgrading these shares. Perhaps they'll hit at 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll keep an eye on it, members. More to come throughout the day on Boeing and our management of this trade. And if you're not currently a member, that's all well and good. Please like, subscribe to the channel, get to know me, I get to know you. Join our live streams, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday and Sunday nights, where we go live. Don't forget to check out my commentary on Boeing from yesterday. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a bid here at 229 now. I don't think that's going to hold. But fingers crossed, I hope it does. With that, folks, everybody have a profitable trading day. I will talk to you soon. Be well.